I'm very frustrated, and I need a break or something. This is too much. This isn't a conversation, it's a monologue. And you're accusing me of monologuing, and you've done 95% of the talking.
How is this a monologue when I'm asking you a
question? Because you've done 95% of the talking.
I'm literally asking
you. You've done 95% of the talking. That's how it's a monologue.
You know what? For 5 minutes, I'm just going to not say anything, and I'm going to ask this question one last time, and let's see if you bother answering it.
My God. Fanatic. No, I'm not. No. You can ask if Fanatic. You want to. I need a break. I'm frustrated. No. I'm saying no.
Fanatic.
No.
Fanatic.
No.
Was the general perspective of the community that
Arturo I'm not answering your question. No, I'm not answering your question.
Was the general perspective of the community that Arturo had broken TOS?
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Oh, hey, what's going on? Before we start, I have to ask one question.
Go ahead.
All right, this is unrelated, but why the hell is Cyclops' JMP Infinite in Marvel 2 dummy hard? I can do it in X-Men versus Street Fighter, no problem. I can do ROM with Magneto, every version of it, but that shit just unnecessarily hard to time. I don't understand.
It's probably because that one has links, whereas like most Infinites, like ROM, it doesn't have any links. It's just air dashing, right? But that you're actually linking off of normals, which is a little bit harder.
Well, no, I you can do it in X-Men versus because Cyclops is in X-Men versus Street Fighter, and you can do it there, but it's like I don't know. It's anyways.
But nobody does that in X-Men versus Street Fighter, don't they? Always you just do the corner infinite, jump, jab, medium, fears, right?
But that's not sauce. I want the sauce for that. We only go for the hard shit around here. All right?
Oh yeah, nah, I can't be bothered. I mean, I do that stuff in training mode though, for sure.
No. So yeah, let me open up my notes real quick because I had watched you guys' stream, and after you agreed to the conversation, I took some notes so that we wouldn't
all right, good stuff.
Rail off.
Yeah, so great.
Before we start, if there's anything you think that I'm saying is wrong, feel free to interrupt. I'll hear you out. I'll try not to interrupt you too many times with that, however, but I'll extend the same courtesy I'll let anyone else.
You can interrupt. It's just like if I think the rule is always this: you can interrupt me, but if I feel like the point that I'm making is important enough that I want to finish it, I'm going to ask you not to, right? Like, no, let me finish.
Okay. Yeah, and I respect that.
Yeah, and then likewise, I might interrupt you, but if you are like, hey, no, I really want to finish this point, then I got to shut up. Right?
Yeah, I don't even think this is going to be a long conversation.
Perfect.
And let me just preface it by saying that I'm like not involved in like any way. I don't have any personal stake in this. This is just me being a bit disappointed, being familiar with your work in like the debatosphere and not really breaching the bridge. Not like really breaching the differences that you and Rob were coming to. I feel like, and I'll say this on record, I don't think Rob represented himself well in that conversation. I think he could have done a lot better job, but I think the points you were making were valid nonetheless. So
okay.
All right. Do you want to start, or should I?
No, you got it. You take the floor. You tell me what's up.
So yeah, this is literally just a conversation about. So I have 2 points. The first point being, why was Rob upset about being presented as trapping art? And the second point is, why would people be concerned about whether Art was dipping his hand in the pot and using that money as like a unsanctioned loan, which I think was one of the vague allegations that were made.
Okay.
And that he addressed on his stream with Rob.
Okay, so for the first one, like, I mean, obviously it's the reason why Rob would be offended at me basically implying that he's trapping Art is because he didn't intend to trap Art. And in his mind, he doesn't believe he was trapping Art. So then this seems like it's a unfounded accusation. Now, of course, that's where we fundamentally disagree. Like, obviously, I've been doing all of this work. I've made God knows how many videos. I've probably put over 30 freaking hours, more than that, significantly more than that, because that's if we include conversations, backdoor conversations with TOs, all of the individual research that I'm doing, all of the calls that I had to do. We include all of the videos that I had to like bum streams and things like that that I had to go through and take notes and collect data on. If we include all of that stuff, I'm probably past 72 hours on this, to be 100% honest. So I've like done the deepest of dives. Like, so, I mean, I have so much information, right?
And I'll agree. I don't think we need to like relitigate how much effort that you've put into defending Art in this matter, because I don't think we'll disagree on the fact that you have in fact done your due diligence as far as collecting evidence to support yourself on this matter. The problem is that I don't think so. One of the things that when I was watching through the conversation, I don't think asking for evidence or stating that it is the best way to relieve Art of being perceived guilty by the greater FGC was him trapping or a bad thing. Do you disagree with that?
100%. And here's why. Okay. It's like this. Say you have a person like OJ, right? And you have the prosecution, and let me just make sure I keep a note so I know what keep track. Hold on.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any coffee. Okay. Say you're dealing with the OJ case, and you have this prosecution who's presenting all of this evidence and so on and so forth. Johnny Cochran completely debunks every piece of evidence that the prosecution throws at him, to where there are no more standing pieces of evidence, right? Once you're able to show you have no evidence for any guilt whatsoever, then the case should be over, right? And that's when you get the not guilty verdict, because you have no evidence with which to convict the man. Now, say one of the people on the defense says, now, after we've already completely eradicated all the evidence, let's get to this now. I really would like to do some DNA evidence, and starts reintroducing arguments about him needing to prove himself, and like reaffirming, one thing OJ never did show though was, now, at the point that a person is innocent, to reintroduce doubt by pointing out this specific thing that I wanted, I didn't get, then that is almost like reopening the litigation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I understand your analogy. I just don't think it fits here. And the reason I don't think it fits here is I don't think anybody far and wide would say that during Art's stream that he did a good job. I think if anything,
wait, because I'm not talking about during Art's stream. The reopening of the litigation was by Rob after we had already done all these videos and he trimmed it.
I understand. I'll get to it. Let me get to it. So again, and this is important to the point I'm making. I don't think anybody would say that Art did a good job on his stream of representing himself and that he made himself look bad. The reason I don't think this analogy works, right, is if OJ was to come out and be like, look, I do have verifiable evidence that this is not true. And then when the other person is like, hey, can you show that evidence? You said you had this evidence. This is something that OJ is saying. Hey, you have this evidence. Let me show it to you. And to then be like, actually, no, I won't show that evidence. This is why Rob is not relitigating. Oh, this is something that Arturo himself acknowledged was something he could do in this matter.
Okay, what you just said literally didn't address a single thing that I mentioned in the analogy. Because in the analogy, if we're going to keep it,
I'm saying your analogy doesn't map onto the situation.
It very much does not map onto the situation, and let me explain why. It's a one-to-one analogy. First off, the prosecution are the people who are making the original accusations. Those people would be Bum, D-Nice, and Bifuteki. Those are the prosecution presenting their evidence. Johnny Cochran in this scenario, no, I don't think I'm a lawyer. No, I don't think I'm Johnny Cochran. Just as the analogy holds up, would be me in the situation, disproving all of their evidence. At this point, the exoneration, aka the jury finally saying he's not guilty, is him trending positively on Matcherino for 2 days, and everyone coming out and saying, by the way, every time I've ever worked with Arturo, he's been a good guy, so on and so forth, right? So that's where the analogy fits. Now, what you're adding on to is something extraneous to the analogy and then saying that therefore the analogy doesn't work. Now, if I wanted to, I can add to the analogy that prior to Johnny Cochran and the trial and all of those things, OJ went to prosecution and said, I'm 100% sure that I was whatever, and I have like video evidence that proves I wasn't even at the scene. Now, he could have made that statement. Now, if by the time we're done, all of the evidence that the prosecution had has been completely demolished, right? At this point, yes, he could still choose to go ahead and show that other piece of evidence, but it's not necessary considering there are no more standing accusations. So that's why the analogy holds up. Is that fair?
I mean, again, this is in a strictly legal sense. Yes, that is. If we were going to law and that would matter, but what we're trying to appeal to now, or what Rob was trying to appeal to now in his conversation, and the analogy that he uses, if you have evidence, direct evidence that you did not commit something, and you can get ahead of that before, because I mean, as far as we know, Art's already been dropped, Art's already been, banned, whatever. All of this has already happened. Even before he made his stream, I'm pretty sure, Spooky dropped him before he even did the stream. I could be wrong though. But I'm pretty sure most people had already dropped him. So it's not like, oh, he needs this to defend himself in a legal sense. This is just appealing to the people. I'm going on this stream to officially defend myself. I'm listening to D-Nice's and whoever's,
Nothing you're saying is addressing the point that I'm making. Again, all you're doing is restating he looked bad on his stream. You're restating that originally it looked bad for him. You're restating that people dropped him originally. I acknowledge that. What I'm saying is the trial, the way that this thing fought afterwards, right? Those things preceded the exoneration and the trending of Arturo 2 days positively and the negative trending of Majorino 2 days negatively, right? So now, go ahead.
What you're saying prior to his stream, people were looking at him negatively, or
prior to Arturo's stream, people were already looking at him negatively, and then his stream.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, I can show you the tweet. I'm sorry, that's not my opinion. First off, Twitter was rife with all of these people already canceling him. What are you talking about? People had already right. Hold on. Wait.
Okay.
Hold on.
You're good. You're my bad.
My point is, I'm saying chronologically, after the stream in which Rob looked bad is when I did all of the videos exonerating him. So you're introducing something prior to. What I'm saying is, chronologically, I made my videos exonerating him, implicating Majorino. Majorino trended negatively 2 days based off of that. Then afterwards, when I did my fourth video, or maybe my third, Arturo was trending positively on Twitter, and then tournament organizers and players alike, all of the pillars in the community were outspoken with a complete outpouring of love and support for Arturo. That's what happened chronologically. After that happens, to then relitigate or to then reintroduce, there was a piece of evidence that you didn't show. Now that the general favor of the masses have been won, and it seems like in the court of public opinion, he has been vindicated. Now you're reintroducing issues that don't need to be, considering he has now been found not guilty, right?
Well, again, the reason this is even relevant, and maybe I misunderstood during the stream and misunderstood after the fact, but was it not one of the allegations against Arturo was that he was using the money as an unsanctioned loan and then paying it back later? Was that not one of the vague allegations that you had pointed out in your video? Because I'm pretty sure
I've never painted that out. No, I never said anything about him having loaned the money. Literally never. You can find it in your timestamp if you want to. No, that was never one of the accusations. The accusations that I addressed came from Bfuteki, D-Nice, and Bum, and I was addressing the very specific things that Majorino stated. That was never one of the main accusations. No.
Wasn't that when he was saying, "Oh, this money is in my account. It's never been touched. It just stays there"? Was that not one of the?
Maybe he made that statement. I'm saying I never addressed a single lick of that in any capacity, in any way in my video, period. Nor was that the accusations that came from Bfuteki, Bum, and D-Nice.
Okay, well, again, let's take a step back. That is a vague allegation, one of the vague allegations that you could say that was made during Arturo's stream or around Arturo, is that he was using the money, he paid it back at a later date, and that was something that was also being parroted by people, which isn't really addressed. You can say, oh, because again, unless Arturo or Maturino says anything about, and this is the second point of my conversation, is why it matters to people. Everything else, and I know you read like the write up that I forgot who's the guys who did the write up on the entire situation. Most of the things that were negative about Arturo was confirmed or established by Arturo. It would the only thing not being confirmed is how the funds were mishandled.
Wait, what do you mean most of the negative things about Arturo were confirmed by him? What do you mean? What does that mean?
No. I'm sorry. So a couple of the allegations, and maybe there are more, maybe there are less, but some of the allegations were, the first allegation was, I would pay players back late. Is that something that he admitted to doing?
That is a single allegation that was paid. That was admitted by him.
I know. Okay,
you said the other most of. What other one?
So the paying back the money late. The other allegation. I'm sorry. Most allegations were either verified or unverified. Not like he agreed on it. But the other allegation was that players weren't getting their money back. What you have done to prove is that most players had, in fact, received their money. It wasn't the fact that he was stealing money and people weren't receiving it. They actually did receive it. I think the only people who you pointed out in your video would say that they didn't was Punisher, people who received small cash payments. And
so just to be clear, I'm sorry, because we're skirting past this now. So now the only allegation that was ever confirmed by Arturo was specifically the fact that he was late. There was no other allegation against Arturo that he confirmed at all, right?
I'm saying that there were most of the important or main points of contention were verified. I'm sorry if I misspoke, but most of the So then what I'm saying is right, that there was no other allegation that was given against Arturo besides the fact that he was late that was confirmed, right? No, that's not the same thing. I'm saying that the only one that Arturo himself was able to directly verify was the fact that, hey, I did in fact pay players late. And then
so was there any other? There's no other, right?
The other allegations were that these players weren't being paid at all. Was that not an allegation that was made?
And was that confirmed by Art?
Well, again, I'm saying I misspoke. I wasn't saying directly.
If you did misspeak, then when I'm trying to say it succinctly, why do you struggle to say yes?
I'm not.
Okay, sorry, I'm going to say it one more time, and then you can just say yes to this.
Okay.
So the only allegation that was confirmed by Art was that he paid people late, right?
Yes. He did not unverify. I'm sorry. He did not verify the fact that he did not pay the players or players weren't paid, and he did not.
He didn't verify any other allegation.
Yes,
right?
Yes, you are correct. Yes, you are correct.
Why is this so hard? It's just a very direct
question. Hold on, because the whole reason we even got down here is because of me misspeaking about Arturo directly verifying these things. When I was saying
when someone's asking you a very direct question, the answer to that should have been yes. The four times I asked it.
I mean, it's not. Okay, you're correct. My apologies in this situation. Yes, he did verify that he was late, but the only
thing he verified.
That is, as far as I know, unless he's gone on Twitter and said something else.
Thank the Lord. What? Bro, that was a struggle. I had to ask that 4 times. Do you understand?
That's sidetracking, and it's not really important to what I was trying to say.
No, it's absolutely important, because first off, when you start out, I get it, maybe you were misspeaking, but what you said was, considering most of the allegations against Arturo were verified. That's just categorically false. So
I said, or even adjusted it. I said were addressed or unverified or verified. And so
you did that after I pushed back, but then even then, verified or unverified, I said, what does that even mean? What does that mean?
That there were evidence or something brought up that had corroborated what was being alleged against Arturo. What? Do you want me to go down every single allegation against him?
I want you to go down any allegation against him that's been verified.
That's what I'm saying. The only one that's been. We're gonna take a step back. I feel like we need to take a step back. This is another aside that I'll go on, and it feels like this was also something you did in the conversation, and someone being familiar with some of your body of work, with some of the conversations you've had in the debatosphere. Why are you squabbling? It feels like you're squabbling. It felt like you squabbled with like the PayPal statements, and now it feels like you're squabbling here when I'm rescinding the statement and correcting myself and trying to get to the greater point. I'm trying to get to the greater point.
Okay, if you're rescinding, when I make a very simple statement, then you should just be able to say yes to it and move on. If you started out and said, okay, for example, let's just say hypothetically that you're a pedophile, right? Right? And then you're just wait, no. First off, just to be clear, I am not a pedophile, right? And it's like, well, okay, but hold on, but I'm just saying, like, okay, ultimately, like, you've done some evil, and it's like, wait, no. I'm not a pedophile, right? And it's like, yeah, okay, look, okay, so it's been confirmed or not confirmed, maybe, that you're a pedophile, but I'm saying that, and it's like, no, hold on, it's really simple. All you have to do is, hold on. If I ask you a very direct question, and the answer is yes, say yes, and then we move on. But if I ask you a direct question and you don't say yes, you say, well, actually, I mean verified or unverified. And I'm like, wait, what does verified and unverified mean as opposed to, and you, well, I'm saying, I'm rescinding it, but I'm saying most of these things, and it's like you keep waffling, and I'm asking very directly, very succinctly. So the only thing that was confirmed was this one.
Fanatiq, please, dude. There's no reason for you to be, I haven't raised my voice at you.
I got you. It's just, again, every time when people don't answer my questions 5 times in a row, I'm going to get frustrated. So then so then when you make the appeal that like, oh man, Fanatiq, I haven't raised my voice, you've been just as disrespectful by refusing to answer the question 5 times, which is significantly more frustrating to me than raising your voice.
If you're upset with me, about not answering this when it's not a point that it's even something I care about or even want to argue on,
I care about it.
Okay, you can care about it.
Because you introduced it into this conversation and it's false. And it paints Arturo in a bad light to say most of the things confirmed against him, I mean, most of the allegations brought against him were confirmed. That is absolutely incredibly damaging, right? So obviously I care about that. So then I want to fight against that. Okay, so maybe you don't care, but I do. So then when I ask you directly, you can just go ahead and say, yeah, you're right. And then we'll move past it.
The problem is that it doesn't. When you did not. You said, okay, so what did I say after you had questioned me about it? I said, oh no, I meant nothing. None of the allegations except for this one were verified or unverified. You asked me what that meant. I'm like, okay, these are the allegations against him. This is the only one that he's been able to corroborate. And then that's how we move on. But why are we arguing about? Can I get to my next point? Because this isn't.
Okay, I hear you. You'll never struggle getting to a point if I ask you a very direct question and you answer it directly.
Noted. All right,
it'll never happen. Just be clear about that.
The frustration for me is that wasn't a point that I was trying to address.
It was a point I was trying to make because it was really damaging to Arturo. So I don't care about what you wanted to address. You said something wrong that was damaging to Arturo. I corrected you on it, and you waffled and equivocated around it. That's what happened. Waffle. Okay, you can say you didn't. You equivocated around it. Whatever. My point is, if I ask you a direct question, you can answer the direct question simply saying yes, and then moving to your point would have been perfectly fine, but you refused to do so, and I had to ask it 4 times.
All right. Irregardless. That's not a word. Regardless of how you feel it painted art or whatever. As soon as you said it, I fixed it. Whatever. We can move on.
But move on.
Whatever. Okay. Anyways, the only way we would be able to find out from or how these funds were mishandled are if Arturo were to show that no, these funds were never mishandled. They only stayed in my account. Here's my monthly bank statements. These shows my balance. This was when the money came in. None of this money ever came out. Or if Maturino was to come out, which again in your videos you show that they're acting in bad faith and wouldn't probably do because it would look bad on them, would be to say, no, when we said mishandle funds, which is something I think someone pointed out in one of your videos, was at first the mishandling was addressed as no, you can't send it to yourself, which is against TOS, but other people do it. But then you changed it to the mishandling meant that it was just, or it could have included not paying within 30 days.
Okay,
So
wait,
unless
hold on.
Maturino was to verify or Arturo were to verify these things, there
No.
would be.
So first off, Maturino can't have any insight into the type of mishandling that you're talking about. Yes, we understand that there's a terms of service violation in the term in the sense of paying out to yourself in order to pay out people. That's not the way Maturino intends to work, and that is a terms of service violation. As I clearly demonstrated in my video, Maturino was 100% aware of every single time that this was happening, and Arturo did it to the tune of $144,000 over the course of 5 years, and they never stopped him because they understood that it was necessary because of the piss poor functionality of their website. So because of that, then at this point, that can't be what they were talking about as far as the mishandling of funds, because otherwise it would make them the biggest hypocrites on the planet to have seen this happening for 5 years and being aware of it for the entire 5 year and then finally being mad now. What it seems like is logically any person should be able to come to the conclusion more so that what they were upset about is not that he was paying out to himself to pay players, but that he was paying out to himself and then it took him a very long time to pay players such that people were asking for their money and they didn't get it for a couple months. That's what they were upset about, obviously, because it wouldn't make sense for them to have tolerated this behavior for 5 years without a freaking peep. But then suddenly now we're just upset about it at the same time while people are not getting their money.
I'm not saying that was what they were saying. I was saying that the perspective of how mishandling I'm saying we will not know 100%. We could logically deduce, which is something that we can do. It's something that certainly we can make, but we will not know 100% unless Maturino is to directly state this is what we meant by mishandling funds, which again they probably will not do because, as you in your video stated,
you already stated that, but dude,
yeah, and again,
what I'm not saying that we can know with 100%. What I just presented to you was logical reasoning that would justify probably my perspective as opposed to another. If we do believe that the mishandling of funds just meant paying out to themselves, one, Arturo wouldn't have been the only person canceled because as I've demonstrated, everybody was doing this. Two, obviously they were aware of it, as I had already proven in my video, and they had tolerated it for 5 years. So because of that, to assume that they just mean him paying out to himself seems a little ignorant, does it not?
That's not a point I'm making, though.
No.
The point
you just made, you just said that we won't know whether they meant that part about paying out to himself or if they meant something else. I'm saying we do know that they didn't mean that part about paying out to himself because obviously they tolerated for 5 years. There's been like 6 different people who have all done it and they've not complained about any of them. So that clearly can't be the issue, right?
I'm saying that for us, the people who are not Maturino or Arturo, right, as far as the TOS goes, the perspective
You're ignoring
of
everything I'm saying.
Oh my dude! Like again, what I'm saying is I'm not making that. I'm not alleging against Arturo that this is the TOS that he had broke. I'm saying that the perspective originally was that he was paying out to himself. We found out that it's not true. We found out that Bum does this, other people do this, that this was okay, and you are correct on that. But now we're saying that the mishandling means they were paying 30 days late when we could again deduce that is the case, but we have no idea until either Maturino confirms or denies it, or Arturo confirms or denies it, because they are the only two involved in the situation.
Okay, I don't think, this conversation just doesn't seem to work. So I mean, just go ahead and get to the most important points, because this seems useless. I feel like here's what's happening here. You have a vision of where you want the conversation to go. I have my own vision of where the conversation I want it to go. So what happens is you voice something and I respond to what you're saying and voice something also. Right. When that happens, you don't address what I'm saying. You try to dismiss what I'm saying to continue voicing the conversation in the way you want it to go. So what that makes me feel like is that what I'm saying is not being heard or addressed. Now, maybe in the case when the things that I'm saying deviate from where you want the conversation to go, a good faith conversation functions such that you address the thing that I'm saying and then continue going down the path that you're wanting to go. If you dismiss what I'm trying to say, we're not having a conversation, you're having a monologue. I'm not interested in a monologue with you. And repeatedly now, you've made the statement, yeah, but that's not important to me. It doesn't matter if it's important to you. We're having a conversation together. Can you name anything that you're saying that I'm refusing to address? You cannot, because that's not how conversations go. That's not how I conduct myself. Now, I might introduce some asides in order to address certain points that I think are important. The difference between you and I is I'm not going to dismiss what you are saying. I'm going to continue to address what I'm saying while also addressing what you're saying, but you're not doing the same for me, which is not good conversation. Does that make sense?
Let me ask, what do you think that I am not, what do you think that I've said, that you've been said that I wasn't saying the same thing as? Because as far as I know, I've never alleged, right? And even when I did, I fixed it originally before. I said, yo, these are the claims. This was the only one that was verified by Art. And I fixed that. All right. You can, whatever. We moved on from that point. Now we're saying that, look, the perspective of it from the general audience, from the greater FGC of whoever was looking at this situation, was this person originally was, people were originally saying that this person mishandled funds by paying out to himself, which we found out to not be the case. And now the next thing that we're saying, oh,
that's
this is
not
how this
true.
person.
That's what I'm saying.
That,
he did
I
pay
just
out
said
to
that.
himself.
Fanatic, I just said that.
Let me explain. I got you. Let me explain.
Okay.
What I'm saying is it's not true that he didn't pay out to himself. He was paying out to himself. I just said that. You see?
No,
he was paying out to himself, and you just said he was not. He paid out to himself to a tune of $144,000. What are we talking about?
I'm saying that the perspective that the TOS, the mishandling of funds, was what was being broken, which was the fact that he was paying out to himself. That's not what they meant by mishandling funds. Is that wrong or right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Was the mishandling of funds referring to this aspect of him paying out to himself? No, because he was doing this along with other people. Now, that was the perspective that had changed. This is what I'm trying to point out. We do not know what was meant by mishandling, which you agreed to. We're not saying anything different. You're just wanting to talk over me, and you're the one in monologue. And so when I'm saying we're saying the same thing, or that this isn't important, this isn't me saying, oh, it's not important to the greater overall narrative. I'm saying that this is not important to what I'm saying because we're saying the same thing. Is there anything that I have said that is not answering or going against what you have said? Let me know. Because as far as I know, and we can go back in the VOD, let's go back and look. I said the perspective that he had broken TOS by paying out had changed, and the new narrative or the new thing, the new most logical conclusion is that he had broken TOS by not paying out within 30 days or so, which we don't know if that's why Maturino did it, because they haven't made any further statement. Is that incorrect?
Man,
is that incorrect? I'm asking you a direct question. Are you going to answer it? Since you're arguing here that I'm not doing this. Yes or no?
Yes, I think you're incorrect. I think we can probably make really decent logical extrapolations to determine that what they meant by terms of service violation was specifically the late payments for the reasons that I've already stated in this debate, which you said you were agreeing with me on, that you continue to ignore. It's wild as hell.
That's not what I'm saying.
I'm doing the monologue, but I got you. You're right.
That's literally because what I'm saying is that the perspective of the people had changed from thinking that this person was paying himself out of pocket. And again, you argued against this in your videos against Bum, against other people who have Maturino TOs that have taken the money out of their account and had paid out the players directly. That this is not what they were referencing to when they say breach of TOS. However, the next perspective is without verifying, right, is that, they meant that he had paid 30 days or later, which is also a breach of TOS. However, unless Maturino confirms that this is which they probably won't do, this is what we meant.
You said this a billion times. You're just going to say it again, man.
Because you have because what is the disagreement here?
I explained to you the disagreement, and every time I explain to you the disagreement, you restate the point, and I'm telling you I disagree.
How do you? So are you gonna? I need to hear this. I need this on record. The perspective of the community was that Arturo broke TOS.
You're just repeating it again. You're just
answer. Please, what's the answer me then?
This is I did. I keep telling you, I hear you, and I disagree.
Okay.
What is going
on? Who was the first person to assert that breaking TOS meant 30 days or later? Let me know who that is. Was it you? Because if you're the first person.
I'm sorry, man. I don't think we can have this conversation. This is crazy.
I don't think so either, because you're literally wanting to talk over me when I'm literally saying.
Dude, you've been monologuing like 90% of this conversation. What are you talking about?
I'm literally asking you, hey, if we were to go on Twitter right now, and we were to go look at a time, if we were to go on Twitter right now, and we were to go and look at a timeline of all the things people were saying about Art, and again, what Bum was saying about Art, right, which was, oh, he broke TOS by taking money out, right? He broke TOS by taking the money out of Maturino and paying out himself. What are you going to seriously argue that wasn't the narrative that people were spinning until you disproved it? Yes or no?
I'm sorry, man. I'm lost. I think at this point I'm checking out. I don't know how to mentally keep up with this.
I'm literally. Hold on.
You want to talk again? I barely said a few words. You talked like the last 5 minutes.
Answer it then. Answer it.
Hey, buddy, I don't have it. I'm sorry. I don't have it in me. I cannot have a person trying to dominate a conversation this heavily and literally this unaware. You literally cannot have a conversation. It's crazy. It's freak. You've repeated yourself 6 times. I've responded to it every time. This is OD.
You haven't.
Okay, you're right. Maybe I didn't. And you know what? I'm sorry. Our communication styles don't work together. That's what it is.
Yes or no? Was the narrative that Arturo broke TOS by paying himself out the money? Yes or no? Was that not what people perceived the breaking of TOS as? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? That's literally it.
All right. Yes or no, bro?
Yes or no? What is your answer? Do you believe it? Do you believe that was? All right,
bro. I can't have this conversation. Like this is beyond.
Apparently, because you have the worst brain rot about this. Apparently, like I'm asking a question.
Yeah, for sure. I got brain rot. Yeah.
Why is it that you can be upset at Rob, you can be upset at me for not answering your questions, but when I'm asking you, hey, it was the perspective of the community that Arturo broke TLs by doing this thing, not even confirmed, parroted by people like Bum, parroted by people like D-Nice, that you had already disproved. Now, your videos came out, and again, I've already given you your flowers. You did your due diligence when it came to disproving that, no, this is not what he meant by he broke TOS. And you gave the most logical thing. Oh, the most logical thing is, he didn't pay out within 30 days or later, and that is how he broke TOS. Is anything I'm saying untrue? That's all I'm asking. We can take a step back. I just took a sip of water. We can breathe or whatever. All I want is an answer to this question. Is the perspective that Arturo broke TOS parroted by community leaders, that he broke TOS by paying himself out through Maturino? Was that what he perceived it as? Is that what was perceived in the community? That's all I'm asking. How is it you're gonna hold me to the fire about, I'm arguing in good faith and that's why I'll answer all of these questions, but then when I'm asking you these questions, you're like, oh no, and then that's it. You're not explaining why, you're not saying anything. What yes or no? What did people perceive Art as breaking the TOS as before your videos? Let me know. That's all I'm asking. I'm done talking. I'll give you the floor. Yes or no? What was the perspective? Go ahead.
This is crazy. I don't have the patience for this.
What? I'm asking you a question. Why can't you answer this question? What is so hard?
I'm frustrated is what's so hard.
You can't. It's actually funny. I hope you understand. I hope you understand how silly it looks that you can't. That you force me to. That you force me to be like, oh, this is what you meant by what you said when you said all these claims were verified by Arturo. But then you can't even answer me on this one question about how it was perceived Arturo broke TOS originally before your videos. I'm just trying to. I don't understand how you're bridging these in your mind.
I don't know how many times I can say it. I'm frustrated, bro. I'm very, 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 very frustrated. What more do I need to say?
I'm also very frustrated. I just want an answer to this question. Yes or no? Was that the general perspective? That's all I'm asking, and then we can move on. You know what? A great debater once told me that a good conversation is instead of waffling and not answering the question, they'll answer the question and then we can move on to the next point. Isn't that? I don't know who said that. I wonder who said that. I wonder who said that. I wonder
Probably, was it the same guy? Was it the same guy that's telling you as clearly and concisely as possible? I'm very frustrated. And I need a break or something. This is too much. This isn't a conversation, it's a monologue. And you're accusing me of monologuing and you've done 95% of the talking.
How is this a monologue when I'm asking you a
question? Because you've done 95% of the talking.
I'm literally asking you.
You've done 95% of the talking. That's how it's a monologue.
You know what? For 5 minutes, I'm just gonna not say anything, and I'm gonna ask this question one last time, and let's see if you bother answering it.
My God, Fanatiq. No, I'm not. No, I don't. You can ask if Fanatiq. You want to. I need a break. I'm frustrated. No, I'm saying no.
Fanatiq.
No,
Fanatiq.
No.
What's the general perspective of the community?
That Arturo I'm not answering your question. No, I'm not answering your question.
Was the general perspective of the community that Arturo had broken TOS by paying himself out and then paying the players? Not going to say anything for the next 5 minutes. You have the floor. Let's see if you do anything with it. Because,
I think for someone to tell you that they're frustrated and you to become more incessant is incredibly rude. You have no self-awareness. And I don't think that you're worth talking to.
If that's how you feel when I'm asking you a question,
that's how I feel. Yes, it is how I feel.
You know what? I apologize.
No, it's too late.
I apologize that you feel this way. I apologize that you feel like you can't answer this question. But
yeah, okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. I accept your apology.
Yeah. I mean, apparently I thought this would be a better conversation, but
I thought it would too.
If you're just refusing to answer
Absolutely,
questions.
I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
All right, you take care, okay?
All righty, man. Well, you have a wonderful day.
All right, you too. That was insane. Never met a person. That's literally the most absurd conversation I've ever had in my life. Y'all have seen me in these things for God knows how long. Who is more crazy than that?